You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our guest today, OCTA Research Fellow Professor Guido David. Professor David, welcome back to The Source. And let me already start with this. We're obviously on heightened GCQ and Metro Manila Plus. This should last, or this is still in effect till May 31. I want to find out now from you, are we ready, or can we afford to relax the restrictions after May 31?
Well, Becky, what we can say is the trend continues to improve in the NCR and most of the NCR plus. In the NCR, for example, right now, our 7-day average of new cases is less than 1,100 new cases per day. And we have already downgraded the risk classification of NCR to moderate risk from high risk. And the positivity rate is now down to 10%. So it's the first time that we've seen a 10% positivity rate in the NCR. And the reproduction number is 0.57. So all the indicators are good. We believe that the national government could seriously consider easing some restrictions in the NCR while still keeping an eye on possible risk elements. So we don't recommend, of course, easing all the restrictions, all at once. We've always recommended a position of easing restrictions gradually. Yeah. Right, because we want to avoid situations like what we saw in like a pool party in the NCR, wherein a lot of people got infected. So those are situations that could seriously reverse or seriously threaten our pandemic management in the NCR. So situations like that should be avoided. But as far as reopening businesses and expanding capacities in offices and businesses, I think that is something we could do.
Yeah, let's talk about those, the essentials. Hindi po yung mga pool parties. Those are going to be obviously super spreaders. But we still have high numbers. We're still at an average of about 5,000. So does that mean, Professor, that most of the cases are now in the other regions and not Metro Manila, if we're logging in about 1,100 average a day in the past 7 days?
That is correct, Pinky. In fact, if we look at the top 10 LGUs with the highest number of cases, a few weeks ago, during the surge, of course, the top 10 was comprised of all LGUs from the NCR. But now the top 10 consists of But now the top 10 consists of just five LGUs in the NCR and 5 from outside the NCR, in fact, outside the NCR bubble. So we're seeing increases in places like Davao City, in Puerto Princesa, in Bacolod, Iloilo City, and Cagayan de Oro, and also General Santos. So there is a spike. We can't really say it's a surge yet, but there is definitely an increase in cases that's happening in other parts of.
And why is this happening?
Well, it could be a number of factors, Pinky. It could be sometimes we could have very lax border restrictions, and that allows cases to migrate from the epicenter to provinces. So that could happen, or it could be some again, maybe international border restrictions. So it could be a number of factors. It could be travelers, right, that import the cases to these provinces.
Okay, and I wanted to discuss this, Professor, because if Metro Manila is not high risk anymore, and the areas of concern, as you mentioned, were Davao, Cagayan de Oro, Iloilo, I believe you also said Bacolod, there is a recommendation from OCTA to target the vaccination of 50% of the population in high-risk areas. And these areas were identified as Metro Manila, Tuguegarao, Santiago, Baguio, Cainta, Cebu, and Imus. That would be a total of 50% of the population of those areas would total 8 million Filipinos. So basically, we'll need about 16 million doses. Is this still the track that OCTA is recommending, knowing that Metro Manila now is, did you say, moderate risk? And there are other areas now which are areas of concern.
Yes, and let me clarify that, Pinky. Yeah, you're correct. That was from a paper we wrote, an article we wrote. And what we meant there by high-risk areas was these are the areas that are in 2021 had the highest average daily attack rate. So throughout the whole of 2021. So what we are seeing there is that these LGUs that you mentioned, these are the ones that are always under threat of a surge. So even if the trend is improving in the NCR, we could say that the threat is still there, yes. But yes, we could definitely add some of these emerging high-risk areas like what we mentioned, Cebu, sorry, not Cebu, but Bacolod, Iloilo, Cagayan de Oro, to the list of LGUs wherein we should, Davao, wherein we could target a vaccination of 50% of their population. And this, well, we hope that 50% of the population being vaccinated will help us tremendously in restoring the economy and accelerating recovery in these LGUs. And this will also trickle down to the other provinces and other LGUs that are not high risk.
I guess what I wanted to find out, Professor, is 50% good enough? Because from the past, we've always talked about it needs 60 to 70% to achieve herd immunity. And we're just looking about, we're looking at rather Metro Manila and 6 other areas considered high risk from the paper that was published by OCTA. Is 50% good enough?
Well, to answer your question, Pinky, actually 50% is good enough. And this is what we have been seeing in other countries, like in Israel. They've vaccinated 50% of their population. And in fact, they have gone back to a semblance of the old normal. But definitely, we want to target eventually a number as high as 75% to achieve herd immunity, if we can achieve that. Because based on our calculation, 75% is what we need. Unfortunately, 75% of the population is not realistic right now because minors, children, are not yet eligible to be vaccinated, and they comprise almost 30% of the population. And then we have another, let's say, 20% that may be, strongly against vaccination. Of course, we have to educate them with information drive, but we believe that 50% is a fair target for vaccinations. And then we can achieve a level of containment by doing so.
And I guess, as you mentioned a while ago, it's the realistic target. All right. Professor Guido David, as usual, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras.
Yes, thank you, Pinky. Good morning.
And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.